Welcome back to another episode of Size Previews. As always, I'm Luke Matthews, joined by Chris Spins. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. I guarantee no one will know this is coming.
Yeah.
They won't. In 2020, we celebrated the 20th anniversary of Size with a very, very special project with Kit Kat Clock and Reebok, and it was one of my favourite projects of 2020.
Yeah, it was exciting. I mean, Kit Kat Clock's iconic, innit? And we always wanted to kind of work with them guys, and we finally got the chance to do that, and then to bring the Reebok thing in as well. It was a massive piece for us in 2020.
It was a fact we said at the time, but for every 3 minutes in the last 50 years,
Yeah, you love this fact, yeah.
a Kit Kat clock has been sold somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
Now that's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress. We want to introduce the next installment of the Kit Kat clock relationship with Size, and this is the Black Cat.
Like Luke said, as soon as we did the last one, we were thinking about how can we do the next one? How can we bring that to life? It's took a little bit longer because everything's been going on in the world, but we finally got there. This shoe's going to land around Halloween time, so we're thinking, how can we tie it into that? What's more iconic at Halloween than a black cat? Got that. And then, what else were we wanted to do, which we've not actually got at the moment because it's actually currently being produced, so we've not actually seen a sample. We've seen some kind of mock-ups of it.
Yeah.
There is also going to be a clock that sits with this as well. Like the first pack we did, the clock is going to be full glow in the dark.
Yeah, it's a really special one, and wait till you see. We've seen the sample, the material sample, and it looks so strong. But you'll recognise the shoe anyway. It's spec'd exactly the same as the first one because we wanted them both to sit next to each other, and it's almost a lineage now and the little story and continuation. Yeah. You'll see all the same details throughout. The same eyes on the Reebok logo, which was probably my favourite feature. Yeah. The fur on the tongue, and then again the heel, which is just such a nice little nod there as well. They're so strong.
It's so good, and I like the details are really good. I mean, if you look at the kind of window branding there, it's great how that kind of shines through. But what I would say is like one of the key things we got fed back from the first pack is how good the leather was on the shoes, and we've followed that full grain leather all the way through the shoe again. And once you get this shoe in hand, you'll see that it's really good. The shoes are brilliant. The clock's going to be brilliant as well. So I'm really happy we've got this pack. Hopefully launching around Halloween time, that's the plan, but even outside of that, it's still a great pack to do.
Totally, and I want to also touch on the Club C. I think since then, I mean it was probably before then anyway, but Club C's gone on to become that iconic staple across the board now. Every different collaborator's working on this model. It's almost become the ultimate essential and staple, and this year, genuinely, I've worn Club C probably more than any other model.
Yeah. Do you know what's mad about it? Is how consistent it is every year on year. And this has come back. What was it? 2016 that first OG come back.
Yeah.
Maybe around 2016, 2017. I remember doing a little kind of like thing on it at the time. But that come back, and since then it's never gone away. And there's no, you can't really name another franchise from any other brand that's really stuck. Air Force One potentially, but then this is the only other one outside of that.
But even when trends come up and fluctuate, as they always do,
yeah,
this has never really changed.
Yeah, and then you see the fact that every collab partner, and I'm talking like iconic brands and really good, relevant brands, credible brands at the moment, want to work on this shoe.
They do.
Every single one of them.
They do.
Do you mean and from what we've seen so far, it's here to stay as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think what I like about this is it's just completely different. It's not taking that traditional white base now. We've gone into a black. Seasonality works perfectly. Yeah. And I just love the details. So yeah, this one's coming. Hopefully it'll be around Halloween. But yeah, watch this space for the clock because it's absolute banger. I'm very proud to introduce the Adidas Joggen, and look at it. Just look at it. You don't even need to say anything just for the first second. Just look at it.
Well, I've looked at it quite a lot.
Now you can start talking.
I've looked at it quite a lot, yeah. I mean, we say this every single time, but it's true that we do have a list of shoes we always want to bring back, and this has always been on the list. I'm normally around that kind of cup sole piece, and we wanted something a little bit different. We wanted something a bit more kind of
that's the key.
That running kind of heritage, and something that just gives us a little bit of a point of difference to what we've been doing recently. Do you mean not that we don't like them? We love all them shoes. Do you mean trim styles or whatever it might be? We love all them shoes, but just something different. And this was the one, and we've managed to get it back 1-to-1 with everything, all the little details, the tongue branding, the colours. Do you mean everything looks and feels like that OG, I would say.
Yeah, it does. And the key is, like we said, we do love all those other shoes, but for me, it's just completely different profile altogether. Yeah. The toe down, the midsole, just the styling of everything in terms of elements on it. It's just something completely different. It gives a different architecture into the range. And I mean, for me, when I've always referenced jogging, it's that big bit of EVA in the colour that's so iconic with this shoe.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all the shoes great, and like the materials again, top notch. Little things like this, that footbed. Now that is a reference from the original, from the OG shoe as well. So everything we've gone to town on the details. I like these shoes. I really like these kind of low profile running shoes. SL76, I would say, is probably the last time we did it, which was a huge success for us, and it's a great shoe and iconic. I'd say this is just as iconic as that. I can't remember the last time we seen this back.
No, I can't. So one thing I imagine some of the keen eyes amongst us will have already spotted is the name on the side of the shoe. And I think it's important we talk about it. As you'll notice, it actually says Joggen as opposed to jogging. Now I think it's probably important we address the fact, because obviously we want the shoe to be as one-to-one, as credible as possible. Now Joggen is the German for jogging, which we felt really pays into what the brand would have done back then. And we also like the way that over the years these shoes have been interpreted in different names in the different territories. Jogging, it's just not possible. The shoe, the world's evolved in terms of licensing agreements, copyrights, and it's just not possible. We felt jogging is the perfect homage to the jogging, but almost taking it into where the brand DNA is from as well.
We experience these difficulties quite a bit these days. Like Luke said, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. It's not that easy just to try and put these names on the side of shoes. And we could have took the name off completely, but we just, like you said, we just felt that jogging does kind of like pay homage to the original name and kind of still gives that OG feel, rather than taking the name off completely. We wouldn't want to do that, because then we're not being true to the one-to-one.
No, totally. And I like to think jogging was almost a consideration at the time. It is jogging.
It makes sense.
Totally.
It makes sense.
So there's the OG, and we'll always like to start with the OG, but it got us thinking, that EVA is so incredibly powerful on the shoe. We'd love to sort of pop that in a few different colours and explore it. And almost to get us thinking of colours, we actually looked into the word jogging as well.
Yeah.
And we found a park in New Zealand, which was the first time a group of runners used the word jog as a verb.
Yeah.
And we thought, it's quite a nice park to actually take some colours from. And we'll keep the story at that, because these shoes should just sit by themselves as really, really strong colours. Yeah. And I mean, wait till you see the pops on the midsoles, because they look so strong.
Like you said, we always want to have a little bit of a story of where the colours come from. We just don't want to be somebody who just pulls colour from nowhere. We thought that story was really interesting. We've seen loads of other stories as well. I mean, we spent a full afternoon kind of looking for influences for another two colourways, because we don't just want to do colour ups on shoes. We want to really give it some more depth, like we always say. Give it some storytelling, give it some kind of depth to the shoe, and where we got the colours from. We landed on these two, and for me, unbelievable. And we've already kind of you've already teased this one a little bit.
It was subtle. I was very impressed.
Did you know you would tease it? Of course you did.
Yeah, it was intentional. But
I
was very impressed with, from just the toe down, how someone was like, yeah, it's jogging.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was a tip off somewhere. Have you tipped anyone off?
I've not tipped anyone off at all.
But I was very impressed with someone got it. But yeah, jogging's back. These look incredible. Obviously, we'll start with the OG first. And I think one thing that we've actually not spoke about, like over the years, hundreds of shoes have used this colour. That slime, electric green, however you want to call it. It's one of the best executions of it I've seen here.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know where you can't actually, your eyes struggle to actually compute the colours.
Yeah.
Is it yellow? Is it green? Is it that weird in between? Yeah. And I think it's nailed here. It's perfect. Whenever you see an OG, that is the colour it is.
I think we always get some unnecessary feedback sometimes that the colours are right, but like if you go out there, a lot of the shoes that we reference are really old, let's be honest. So the colours fade, the colours change, and then you might have one that's been sat in a window or sat exposed to daylight or whatever it might be, or worn in a different country or whatever. So the colours do vary on all the OGs. So for us, we've referenced a few different versions of the OG to kind of get to the place we need to be. Do you mean? Like I said, we take a bit of an unnecessary feedback, but it is difficult to find an OG pair that is truly OG and still the colour it was when you bought it from the shop. So for me, we've done our research and we've got as close to it as we can, and it looks perfect.
It does. The two future colours are referencing exactly the same specs and materials as the OG. And you'll also see the details like the perspective on the back of the layer, like every single thing is perfect. and it's also one I can't wait to get some feedback and just hear your thoughts on as well.
And did I hear people saying, is there some more joggings coming? Potentially.
So we typically end with one of our projects, but this time it's almost a continuation of the last video. So as you'll know, we were in Sheffield with Jojo at Rag Parade, filming our latest resize project, and I mean, it was an incredible day, wasn't it?
What a day, what a place as well. Like, we spent hours there, we spent all day there, we could have spent another 10 hours. Like I said when we were there, we could have stayed overnight there. I mean, I could have slept on some Vietnam kind of jungle jackets or something like that, made a little bit out of it, but we had to pick 4 shoes in the end.
We did, we got the 4, and then you guys voted on the final one. And I mean, we've got the final one right here. So for the next resize project, it was TRX.
It was TRX, and it was close, let's be completely honest. It was really close, wasn't it, in the end? But we got there, and you know, you can see exactly why.
Yeah, I do. And I mean, instantly, the materials on this are just insane, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, this is from '98, so it's old, but it's towards that. It's not like one of the previous videos we're looking at stuff from the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. It's still kind of quite recent-ish, what, nearly 25 years old. But how good is it? It's still looking, still looks pretty fresh. I mean, it's feeling a bit sticky, but it looks pretty fresh. Box fresh, never been worn. Do you know what I mean? Colourway is amazing. I love the fact the midsole's coloured in the same colour the stripes. It's just a different way of blocking the shirt than what we've seen previously or recently in the last few years when it's kind of made its return. But yeah, you can see why it's a winner.
No, totally. And like you say, 98 isn't old, but then you say it and you think about it, it is quite old when you think about it now.
I think I was still in school then, just about.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, one thing we've not spoke about, and I mean, when we talk about products, I almost feel the packaging is part of that product.
Yeah.
When we brief these products in, it's again part of it. And that box is like, it's beautiful.
This is that for me again. It's one of them things like we're going about nostalgia a lot on here, and this box for me almost gives you that feeling of like being a kid and opening like a pair of Adidas when I was younger.
Yeah.
Do you mean? And of that era and stuff like that. Do you mean? So again, it's the whole packaging. It's not just about the shoes, which in this case are beautiful. It's about the box as well.
Totally, and I think it is like, I know we say the 98s are not that old, but the materials are so good, and it just, as soon as you open the box, like, it's one of them that we say it quite often on this, you can't actually see the colour really on camera. Yeah. It's hard to actually get that colour across.
It's a weird yellow in it that we've not really seen. It's not that kind of normal vibrant one. It's almost like dulled down, kind of goldy, kind of like, might be one that we kind of use in the future at some point. The thing is with these shoes, and we touched on this when we were with Jojo in the store, is that because there's a story with these shoes as well. Do you mean these shoes have belonged to somebody else at some point, and it's always interesting to try and see that to kind of work out what that story is, or think where these shoes have been before. So it gives it, again, other than being an amazing product and an amazing package, there's another kind of level to it as well.
Totally, and that was half the criteria of what we were looking for. It had to be dead stock. Yeah. So there were going to be so many different angles we went down. And in some ways, it would be interesting to explore that. But for the resize project, specifically for this, it had to be dead stock. So I mean, we could have gone down some amazing routes.
Yeah, which we might do in the future at some point.
Yeah, exactly. So now I know what you're all thinking. How do we get them? How do we get our hands on them? Well, you've not got very long to wait. The draw will be going live exclusively to Size Access members over on the Size Launches app, and it'll be going live on the 1st of August. And all entries cost £1. I mean, £1. Yeah.
Wow.
All entries cost £1. And all proceeds, as always with the resize projects, go to charity. And this charity for this project is Kidscape. Thanks for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel, keep up to date with all the content we've got coming through. And in the meantime, do not forget, over on the Size Launches app, for £1, there's the next draw for the resize project for the TRX. Thanks again, we'll see you next month.